Hello and welcome to the Writer Review. This is Eric Writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 2003 romantic comedy titled Intolerable Cruelty. Now, Intolerable Cruelty runs for 1 hour and 43 minutes long. It is directed by Joel and Ethan Coen. It is produced by the Coen brothers and Brian Grazer. The script was written by Robert Ramsey, Matthew Stone, and the Coen brothers. The story was done by John Romano, Robert Ramsey, and Matthew Stone. The score was done by Carter Burrell. The cinematography by Roger Deakins, and the editing was done by the Coen brothers. And the stars of the movie are George Clooney, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Jeffrey Rush, Cedric the Entertainer, Edward Herman, Paul Adelstein, Richard Jenkins, and Billy Bob Thornton. Now, what did I think of this movie? I think it had a lot of potential to be a really good movie, with its star quality and its roster of really talented performers. But it just didn't really sit very well for me. And this is a rarity coming from me, who's a big fan of the Coen brothers. This time, I'm sorry to say this, but they kind of disappointed me here. Well, the reason why the Coen brothers' films are so translucent is partially because of the innovative universes that they have created over the years. Each of them churn out on its own axis effectively to dish out the stories with an even-flowing story matched by plots filled with logic. Seldom has the Coens have ever made any bad films, and they are truly the most creative and most respected collaborators in the Hollywood industry. Some of them might even be qualified as classics. One might be held in our minds till eternity. Sadly, even the great ones don't always score perfect games. And in Intolerable Cruelty, this movie fails on a lot of levels. One of the worst films that the Coens have ever created have ever worked on was the 1994 big-budgeted The Hudsucker Proxy. Although it was huge on budget in making this movie and was penned by the ever-confident Sam Raimi, the movie was plagued by a mix of clever satire and a botched Capra corniness. The only savior to that debacle was the witty and clever lines from Jennifer Jason Leigh. Sadly, all that clever wittiness in 2003's Intolerable Cruelty isn't even featured here. I think one of the main reasons is that they were trying to take some kind of a comical element into this story and decided to take it seriously, when there really wasn't anything to be taken seriously about, or it didn't really necessarily have to, but it was still taken very, very seriously. The fault isn't entirely to blame with the Coens. I'm not really putting the blame game on them, but 3 other writers chimed in, and the result was very awkward and very low in terms of energy and poise. It's one of those type of cliches where too many cooks spoil the broth. I mean, first of all, you take what could be like a generic bowl of soup, and then somebody decides to put in some extra carrots and extra potatoes, and then a guy puts in too much meat and too much flour, so then the stew ends up evaporating and it starts to drink all over the place into one big blob of a mess. So this is kind of like what you get from the movie Intolerable Cruelty. One big convoluted mess that was just really difficult to pick up. That's where the main difficulty, that's where the main thing that went really wrong in this movie. I mean, you can have a good thing, but sometimes you can have too much of a good thing, and that's where the weakness lies. And if that isn't enough, for you to bring this film down. It was also produced by Brian Grazer. It seems that everything he touches turns to dust. Even on his better films, the Coens can still make better films even on their worst occasions. But then Brian Grazer has to step in, and his winning streak has not been really that good. Alright, performance-wise, here we have the story goes something like this. George Clooney stars as Miles Macy. Is it just me, or is that some kind of an Uncle Buck thing? Miles Macy. Because when you think of Miles Macy, you think of the two younger children in the movie Uncle Buck. The Russell kids, we have Macaulay Culkin in one of his more earlier roles, his pre-Home Alone movie, he is Miles. And then you have Gabby Hoffman in her pre-Field of Dreams movie, she is Macy. So, is that where they got the name from to give to George Clooney, Miles Macy? Well, he's a slick, debonair, hotshot divorce lawyer from Los Angeles. And he is also an inventor of a genuine prenuptial agreement that he likes to call the Miles prenup, which always seems to work, even on people who don't deserve it. If you get Miles Macy to be your lawyer, no matter if you're a good person or a corrupt asshole, you're always going to win. Just take, for example, the opening scenes in the movie where soap opera, award-winning soap opera writer, played by Australian-born actor and real Academy Award winner Geoffrey Rush, he comes home and he notices that the pool boy is at his house. And it seems like he has been fornicating with his wife. Which is also kind of a bit weird because they don't even own a pool. So then, hostile and angry, he eventually points out a gun, even though I don't know if he was actually going to use it on the pool boy. But then his wife, she takes his Academy Award, and his Academy Award has some kind of piercing thing, and she just like shoves it up his ass. He starts screaming, and then she runs off with her loser boyfriend. She hires this Miles Macy, of course. She wins the case, and the poor guy ends up having to eat trash off the streets. And he goes from a rich, successful soap opera actor to being nothing more than a bum on the street, eating garbage. Yep, even the corrupt can still come out on top. And then you come to somebody by the name of Marilyn Rexroth, whose husband has been behind her back, been fucking around with whores. And lo and behold, he eventually gets caught in the act by Cedric the Entertainer's character, whose name is who's some kind of a detective. And his specialty is nailing your ass. And in some kind of annoying manner, he says it quite a lot. I'm going to nail your ass. Every sentence is practically almost nail your ass, nail your ass, nail your ass. Anyhow, he believes that this is definitely a ground for a divorce. But instead of hiring Miles Massey, she hires some other schmo lawyer. But do you think he's going to win her case? Of course not. Because Rex Rexroth hired Miles Massey, the inventor of the Massey prenup. And guess what? Lo and behold, he wins. And now she's flat broke. But the question is she going to go down that easily? Of course not. And she is going to stop at nothing to send this guy down. And she is that kind of way. She is manipulative. She is a gold digger. And she is going to try to do everything she can to bring this guy down. To exploit him. To reveal who he really is. But not only is her manipulative ways effective, the thing is that she may also be a gold digger, but Miles Massey actually sort of has a bit of a liking to her. He actually finds her attractive. And, she's not actually playing hard to get. In fact, she's kind of almost like being Black Widow to him. Well, except for she's not planning on killing him or anything like that. But she is trying to get him into her trap of seduction just to try to bring him down. But then again, Miles Massey is up for a challenge. I mean, sure, oftentimes they see her at dinner. She is she's not going to give up. She's going to nail this guy. She even hires a soap opera actor played by Billy Bob Thornton into the mix by pretending that they're in some kind of a relationship, and he's got some kind of prenuptial agreement, and then he takes the prenuptial agreement, dips it in barbecue sauce, because just like any old good old Texan, actually he's a soap opera actor, but he's pretending that he runs some kind of rich, successful oil industry thing, like a typical Texan, like something sort of like what George Bush and George W. Bush were before they entered politics. He takes the prenuptial agreement of some sort, dips it in barbecue sauce, and literally eats it. So there is some levels of comedy, but at the same time, like I said, it still falls into that category of all style and no substance still. In some ways, George Clooney has kind of an appeal that could definitely make Cary Grant weak in the knees. So he gets, put to the test when his new client, a gold-digging ex-wife Marilyn, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, walks into his office, and now he wants to get on with her romantically. At one time, they were on the opposite ends of the court trial. but now he wants to be in her life because her looks and her charisma is just so irresistible. That's pretty much what the story is. Similar to the 1937 Cary Grant film An Awful Truth, where in that movie the dialogue is at the most improvised, the scenes were unbearably laughable, but still Grant was charismatic to the max. Intolerable Cruel, it's nowhere as funny or appealing in any shape or form, which is a shame because the Coens are capable to generate some levels of hilarity. Think of the opening scene where rich man Jeffrey Rush comes home the day only to discover that the pool boy's truck is located on his driveway. These scenes have been done a myriad of times before and better, with the best definitely coming from David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. Yeah, it's just like one of those, it's been done before, but done better. That's where kind of a lot of this movie seems to rest. Would I say it's lazy and cobbled? Maybe not intentional, but definitely not very effective. It breaks my heart to say this, however, but there are many scenes that really totally drag on too much, and that is a rare thing coming from the Coen brothers. In one particular situation, Miles was at a convention giving out a rather cynical, dour speech to his fellow lawyers. Then out of nowhere, he rips the speech to shreds and just randomly improvises a heartfelt speech about love and prosperity, and it sounds just as equally mundane. Yes, we have these kind of cliched scenes where, at first a person is supposed to deliver some kind of speech about how love at first sight is all just a fallacy, it's all just a fantasy, it's all just something that people want but really can't get. And then all of a sudden, he has this change of heart. It's like, where the fuck did that come from? Don't look at me, I don't know. So Clooney does try and give his character that much needed appeal in a similar veins to his performance in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? But sadly, he just can't hold a candle to his performance here in the movie that I have aforementioned. It's a shame, really. It's really a shame. Alright, let's see. I mean, it's not all entirely bad, but there are a few good things, and I think on the technical level, it's pretty impressive. We have some excellent, amazing cinematography from Roger Deakins. Remember, it's really well stylized. The settings is also pretty impressive. And that, Zeta Jones never appeared so stunning in such a long time. But sadly, her character is just too chilling. And it seems like she often seems to be typecast for constantly playing these kind of seductive, manipulative bitches. But it seems like it kind of works to her advantage, but it's something that we've seen once too many times before. And it seems like maybe there was only one other time when I saw her where she wasn't actually playing a bitch. I believe it was the Steven Spielberg directed movie called The Terminal, which he co-starred with Tom Hanks. I think that was probably maybe one of the only movies where she isn't actually playing an unsympathetic, cold-hearted, calculating bitch. But, that's the thing is that her character is so chilling that she doesn't really make you care much for her. Yes, I know her husband is a cheating asshole, but at the same time, I can't take too much sympathy with her when she likes to manipulate and use men, and she actually doesn't show any kind of remorse or apologies for any of her actions. And the worst part is that it's actually one of those classic cases, and George Clooney is the type of character who will side with anybody as long as they hire him, even if a person is a philandering, two-timing, cheating scoundrel, like in the case of Jeffrey Rush's wife, or even the case of her husband Rex, or her ex-husband Rex. It's like when you go to school and the bullies and the victims are at school, and the principal seems to take more of the side of the bully than he or she does to the side of the victim. So then the victim ends up being the one who will end up getting detention, while the bully will get to go home, will get to go and get away scot-free. That's kind of like what you actually see here. I mean, why then all of a sudden Miles Massey was really infatuated with Marilyn? Why? I mean, all she wants is money. All she wants is wealth. And what makes you think that her relationship and his relationship is going to last? And she also hangs around with a bunch of prima donnas who are just a bunch of materialistic, gold-digging hussies. I wouldn't want to go near them with a 10-foot pole. So even though she might look good on the outside, her inside is so chilling, your appeal to her fades away rapidly. It comes to the point where we don't care less if she's the winner or the loser in her situation she's up against, because she doesn't quite care about anybody, as long as she comes home with rich, fame, and independence. That's all she wants. If this is supposed to be a symbol of feminism, she's not doing a good job. In fact, she is setting you guys back. Isn't it feminism about equal opportunity and not about gold digging? It just actually gives these guys a bad name. Trust me on this. There are a few Coen traits that are found in Intolerable Cruelty. Most of it comes from the character of a hired killer by the name of Wheezy Joe, played by Erwin Keyes, who provides us with some breathtaking scenes where humor is most needed, but it's just too bad that he's only on briefly. And, I think he probably didn't really necessarily need to be needed in this film, but I do think that, Marilyn tried to actually overcome Miles to almost the brink that maybe this girl needs to be dead. So then he sends this deranged psychopath into her house to kill her. But then all of a sudden, he had a bit of a change of plans. And then this big dumb guy eventually accidentally kills himself. But there's very brief moments with him actually has some of the more funnier scenes. So then I have to ask myself, does this film meet the standards of other comedies, even though it was a huge disappointment, knowing that it was directed by two great American directors like the brothers Coen? Oh yeah, it was a huge disappointment, sad to say. Certainly just don't come in uplifting your expectations, because if it's right in with other bad comedies like Dickie Roberts and Duplex. It's definitely truly not the worst film I ever saw, but totally forgettable. Even good directors can still make stinkers. That's kind of like pretty much all that really sums up about this movie. I truly highly don't recommend it. There are other Coen Brothers movies out there that truly are amazing, especially the independent kind of movies. Those are the ones that really are something you should kind of like look into. But other than that, I really can't recommend this movie at all. I want to at least even try to give it a passing grade, but I'm afraid it fails. And so for that, I give the 2003 romantic comedy movie Intolerable Cruelty, out of scale of 10, I give it a 5. So I guess this ends my writer review. Thank you all for listening in. If you wish to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do so. If you wish to leave a comment, go right ahead, but just remember, be kind, be courteous, and don't be rude. And I will be back again with another movie review. So until next time, this is Eric Red Rider saying keep watching those movies, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.